Good Sunday morning. Thanks for joining us here on FlashPoint. I'm Ben Thompson. Joining me today, Charlotte City Councilman Tark Bakari and Larkin Eggleston. Gentlemen, thank you both. Appreciate it. Plug your podcast.
R&D in the QC?
There you go. Going at its
Just
second
started season 2.
second year.
Where's that available?
Everywhere.
Great.
There you go. You got your plug. All right. Hey, listen, this week we obtained a letter that Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles sent to Major League Soccer outlining the city's commitment to an MLS team. The letter, written back in September to Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber, the city of Charlotte has committed $110 million to make Bank of America Stadium soccer friendly. Now, in the letter, Lyles commits hospitality funds for that stadium. She also includes property at the old Eastland Mall site for team headquarters and practicing facilities. The proposed money would still need to be voted on publicly before the deal would be official. When the announcement was made public this past week, league officials said they would travel to a host city for an event. The Panthers bidding group submitted the following names for trademark last week. 8 names submitted, many of them including either Charlotte or Carolina. You see them all there. Some more popular than others, we should say. It's going to be interesting to see if they go with just the city or the whole Carolina thing, like, say, the Panthers. Gentlemen, you said before we come on, you're sworn to secrecy about such matters.
But I will tell you what I think about these names.
We'll get to
I
the
will
names.
talk about these names because I had not seen this list of names until it came out in the media. My assumption is they've probably made up their mind that if they are awarded a team, they have a name in mind, and they just filed 8 of them to throw people off the scent. Though if I were going to do that, I would have filed something way more hilarious and improbable than those, just to mess with people. But I like Charlotte Crown FC. I think the Crown moniker would be really marketable, and I don't think we should use monarchs because even though they're probably talking about royalty, people will think of butterflies.
Probably so. All right, what can you say?
I just said it.
That's it. That's all we can say, unfortunately. Now, the nature of where we are right now, and I think why this is so frustrating to a lot of us, is that there are reasons, and not reasons like we're hiding things from the public, but there's certain topics that we, by state statute, are allowed to be in confidentiality, in closed session, because it's detrimental if that information gets out to the public. And we can't confirm nor deny any of this stuff. All we can say is that there are times when that is so necessary, and everything will come out in the open when that time comes. And when colleagues and others leak information, it is so dangerous because it can not only hurt the city, it makes people not want to do business here. And there are so many different topics where that's the case, and that can really hurt us.
And it's like any other business deal. I mean, we see this with corporate recruitments, relocations, things like that. We, or in this case, Mr. Tepper's organization, is competing against other cities to try to bring these things that would be beneficial and valuable to the city. And so you can't, when you're competing in that kind of a way, you can't necessarily have all the cards laid out on the table for the other cities you're competing with to see. So, it's the process. I understand why it's frustrating to people, but everything. If a team is awarded to Charlotte, if a team is awarded to Mr. Tepper, all the information will come out. People will know what all transpired and what the deal is, if there is a deal to be had.
And regardless of the topic, just so everyone, I mean, whether it's this topic or it's something else that we're discussing and talking about, nothing gets decided behind closed doors. Nothing gets finalized before the public has had a chance to have a communication and a hearing, and we vote publicly, whether it's any topic you can imagine. So anyone who's concerned that backroom deals and things like that are occurring on any topic doesn't need to worry about that, because whether we're settling a lawsuit or we're trying to bring a new company to town, there's a portion of time where we have to be behind closed doors for confidentiality and to not hurt the city.
That said, these things do not happen in a vacuum. There are historical precedents made in the past. 4 or 5 years ago, a different city council voted on stadium upgrades. A lot of people upset because there were things that happened behind closed doors and agreements made behind closed doors that the public was not aware of at the time.
I guess I'm describing how it's supposed to work. And clearly it doesn't across the United States always happen that way, but I can tell you with certainty, while I have a breath left in my life, that's how I'll make sure I operate.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've mostly said it. There's, hopefully there will be good news, but again, we're not the ones steering the ship. The city is not in charge of whether or not MLS decides to award David Tepper and the city of Charlotte an MLS franchise. I, for one, hope that that does happen, but it's not finalized, and it's not, frankly, our decision to make.
So explain to folks how something like this happens, as far as we talk about a public vote happening going forward. Are there conversations that happen behind closed doors? Understanding what you guys are saying and understanding that, like a business, sometimes the city needs to conduct business behind closed doors.
But for us to authorize money to be spent from the city coffers, we have to vote on that in a meeting. So if there's going to be...
Is there a straw poll that happens behind closed doors?
There can be at
circumstances.
Okay. Yeah, there can be.
I mean, you want to know in any circumstance if you've got a majority of people kind of on the same page or not. But
so what's reflected in that memo from the mayor is that sort of reflecting that sort of sentiment?
I think getting too far into a leaked document would be out of bounds for
way out of bounds. And whoever leaked it should be ashamed of themselves and is not fit for public office. And for anyone who is looking at that in the media or anywhere else and thinking they have the full story by reading that is going to find eventually that they are mistaken.
All right. Rather than switch gears, let's take a break because the next serious topic is a serious one. So let's go to break and we'll talk about it on the other side of the break.